Hey guys, it's Big Dumb Mellennial, and today I just wanted to review the book Where Good Ideas Come From by Steven Johnson. And the first thing I want to go over, the type of person who's going to want to read this book is one, just anybody looking to grow. Interesting reading this book and kind of recognizing a lot of things in yourself for where you'll be able to find your good ideas or where you'll be able to find other people who help you cultivate your good ideas. And two, this book is for business owners, for people who have a business that they're trying to grow and they're trying to create an area so that their business can grow with good ideas. And how do you find those good ideas? Where do you find those good ideas? How do you grow those good ideas? So on and such forth. So people who are just looking to grow, great book to read. Anybody who has a business and wants to make their business better, also a great book to read. The reason I read it is it was on Bill Gates' top 10 books to read. And I was like, cool, neato, cabito, looks like I'm going to dive right into it. A couple of the key premises that I found incredibly interesting is one, good ideas don't only need to be good ideas, they also need to be in the right place at the right time. People who are trying to invent, iPads back in the 1950s, it wouldn't have worked. It was too complicated. It was too far ahead of its time, where now it's something that's in everybody's life. An interesting premise of understanding, even if you do have a good idea, it possibly might not be successful just because it's in the wrong time period. It's just something to be very aware of. Another thing that was super interesting about this book was just the idea behind good ideas aren't something that come up in 1 second. They aren't epiphany moments. Most of the time, good ideas are a slow burning ember that eventually grow into something that is bigger than that because it's fed by your life experiences, it's fed by other people's life experiences, it's fed by all these ideas around it that make it grow into this roaring fire that is something that can only be created by all the different kinds of fuel that go into it. It isn't just, throwing a bunch of gasoline onto it and having a one night big gigantic fire. What it is a slow burning, growing, slowly growing, and throwing wood on it that makes it get bigger and bigger and bigger, but slowly. And so the heat inside of it is strong and makes it so that it's this hard burning, very hot fire that's fed by all these really good sources like other ideas coming from other people, life experiences, stuff like that. And so eventually it grows into this very large fire, this really good idea, but it started out as a small ember. Just something to be aware of. And another point that I thought was very interesting about this book. And the last point, and there's 100 million different points in here. Highly advise anybody to read it. But the third point that I found super interesting about it was just the idea that all of these templates or all these areas where ideas grow. It brought up the example of they were dropping train cars into the ocean. And what they did with those train cars is it pretty much created this artificial coral reef. So they were taking something old and it was growing inside of it. And so you need to do the same thing with ideas. What are old ideas? How can you transform it into something that would be useful for today's world? How can you transform it into something that would be useful for your situation? And so those are, three basic points of the things that I learned in the book, but I would advise anybody to read it as it is incredibly interesting. But another thing that you need to be thinking about while you read this book is how can you put it into your life? Because I think one of the best things that it does is it kind of opens up your eyes and into understanding not only, how a business can run better, but how you could learn better and figure out what your good ideas are for what you want to do in life. If you want to, be an artist, how can you figure out what kind of artist that you want to be? What can your great idea be for the beautiful piece of artwork that you want to make? And that comes from all these different sources. This comes from the way that Picasso draw. This comes from graffiti. This comes from Banksy. All these pieces come together to help you understand the kind of artist that you want to be. I don't want to be an artist, terrible at it, terrible at drawing, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. And so this is Big Dumb Millennial, and this is just me talking about Steven Johnson's Where Good Ideas Come From. Highly advise reading it, and thanks for watching this video.